Welcome back to Beckley's Camping Center, and today we're going to talk to you about the brand new 2021 Tab 400 by New Camp RV. Now there'll be specifications and pricing down below this video, but for more information, just feel free to reach out to us and we'll try and answer your questions for you. So starting up on the front of this Tab 400, nothing much has changed. Now keep in mind, one big benefit to the 2021 is the fact that they've moved the axles a few inches forward, giving you less tongue weight. Now this is the Boondock edition, giving you a little beefier suspension. You're actually giving you more ground clearance, and also gives you this Boondock platform up front, giving you adequate area here to put some supplies, and or if you want to put a second LP bottle, as well as exterior storage bins left and right of this LP storage container. So something else you're going to be very happy about is the fact for 2021, they went back to the Cool Cat heat pump. They went away from that Air 8. So, and we'll get into that when we get inside as well. That's going to give you better cooling capabilities as well as an additional electric heat source. Now, staying on this side, what you're going to notice, it's not a lot going on here, but you're going to have for your dump valves, for your black and gray, that's going to be down here. Now, you're also going to like, because the fact that when you're dumping your tanks, you want to have a way of rinsing out that black tank. So this is magnetically held up, but you're able to, right in here, you're going to see you have a black tank rinse. Be sure to watch my video on how to properly dump your black tanks, because I think that is key. But what you're going to love about this system now, this is a Nautilus system, making it very simplistic for utilization. And all you need to do is follow the diagrams for the scenario that you're going to be doing. This has your low point range city water connection. Now, since you are bringing your water hose and cable, if you are bringing it up through here, be sure that you use some brass wool to keep those critters out. Understand that is a highway to your camper, and you've got to prevent that from happening. Okay, so now a lot of people ask, hey Paul, what does this red switch go to? It goes to nothing, okay, as of right now anyway. This is your water pump switch here, and notice how they have this nice handy sensored light in here. Nice thing that set it on motion sensor. When you open the door, it's going to sense motion. The light will automatically come on. Now you don't have to futz around, try to figure out where the light switch is. And of course, lastly, notice how you have your outside shower here, giving you both hot and cold water source. So this is your electrical connection for your 30 amp. That's going to give you the electrical source. Now, one thing you're going to have in addition to the option of the solar panel is you do have, for the portable solar panels, connection port. Now you might say, well, Paul, why the heck would I need to have portable solar panels? And here's why. Let's say you're camping out, you want to be in the shade to keep the sun off your camper, you can do such. And then with a portable solar panel, you could set that out in the sun so it's actually recharging your battery during the day. So on the back, it really hasn't changed much, other than, I mean, this is a little bit different. It's more cosmetic as far as changes though, but you still have your handles. So if you want to be pulling this thing around, if you're on flat ground, you're able to do such, and not on gravel, obviously. But now on the back here, you're going to notice also they still have your stabilizers back here, and you have your exterior LP connection. That way there, if you're using that Blackstone griddle or some type of outdoor grill, you're able to connect to that. That's going directly to your LP tank. Keep in mind, that's low pressure. Keep that in mind when you're selecting whatever you're going to be using on the outside. So on your door side, not much happening over here. I mean, you have an electrical outlet for in case you want to go ahead and plug into, maybe some appliances out here, TV and different things. Of course, you have a little storage container. Now, very important that you understand that in here, this is where you're going to have your battery disconnect. So this has two 6-volt AGMs. You're able to turn them on. Make sure that they're on anytime you want to use them, but more importantly, when you're plugged into power and or towing it down the road. Okay, so you're going to love the fact that you can add additional features to the outside. And what this can do for you is going to give you additional shaded areas. So it has this Ketter rail. As you can see, it runs all the way across the top and down the bottom here. So you can just put like a canopy. You could do add rooms. They have this walker tent that's out there, which more than doubles your interior space. Check them out. I think you're going to love it. It'd take you a little bit to set it up the first time, but once you get the hang of it, piece of cake, so I'm told. Top of that, you do have the screen door, allowing you that additional airflow for those camping experiences when you don't need the air conditioner or you don't need the heat. Very easy to open and close. So let's get on the inside and show you what's important out here. So one thing people really like about the fact that of the Tab 400 is the fact that you have a bed and a separate dinette, allowing you to keep the bed made. And when you want to get up for coffee in the morning or whatever, or maybe a beverage before you go to bed, you're not having to worry about that after the fact or before the fact. Now the bed in this is almost a queen size. It's 79 inches side to side. You're going to be sleeping side to side. And then front to back, it's going to be 59 inches wide. I know a queen is like 60 inches, so it's 5 inches narrower and 1 inch in length shorter, right? So the mattress pads that you have in here, there's 3 separate ones. They're set in the right way. They're not upside down. But the nice thing is, from a comfort standpoint, they are on the Froley system. Now the benefit of the Froley system, it does make it more comfortable, but it also gives you airflow below the mattress pads. And that tends to keep down the condensation that you would have if you did not have that Froley system in place. So check that out. And also don't forget about that little storage underneath the middle section. That is where you're going to be able to store some additional items. The area for you to get to the Alta system is on the right-hand side. You're going to have to unscrew the panels in order to get to that. So let's say that you're going to have company. Maybe you need another bed. This will break down to a bed. In order to do so, back here you have little buttons you got to push down. You'll feel it lock in place. That means that you've unlocked it. Now you've got to get in front of your table here, and you're just going to lift it off. Let me show you what pins I was talking about here. So you see right here, this is the little part that you're unlocking. Because it has a little lock that latches on this back here to keep it in place. Now we're going to put it down here. You can latch it on there again. You don't have to worry about that because all you're going to do is unlock it when you need to. So once you get that unlocked, then what you've got to do is you just got to fold over your front leg. This will sit down inside here. Once you get it on there, now it is locked in place. And then we have a second cushion or another cushion to put in place here. So now, in order to make it the bed, you find this other cushion, you put it in place. Now your bed here, it's 74 inches across, and at the narrowest point, it's 27 inches. So that would be a twin bed for a child or a small adult. Now keep in mind, because you have the Cool Cat heat pump, it's just like any air conditioner, you have to go ahead and check the filter on a regular basis and clean it off. I like what they've done on this. All they've done is they've given you a door that you can open it up there. You're just gonna reach inside and you pull this thing out. You can vacuum this thing off if you want, or you can take it all the way out. You can wash it off, let it dry, and then put it back in. Just be careful when you're doing that. You don't want to be ripping any of the hoses that are in here. And put it back in, it just drops right back in there. It is that easy, folks. Don't forget about it. Okay, one very important other item that you need to can be concerned about or be checking on a regular basis is back behind this window over here. That is where you're going to check the fluid for the Alta system. You want to check that on a regular basis. It is kind of a tough thing to go ahead and refill. Something I might consider leaving to the professionals so that you don't make a mess. But be sure to check that on a regular basis. So as you come in the door, this is where you're going to have all your controls. For your lights, this is for your sink light, your accent lights, porch light, which you're going to notice is yellow, water pump when you're not on city water, so you're just using the water that's in your freshwater tank. And then this is where you're checking your levels. Now keep in mind, if you're plugged in the battery and you're checking the battery, that's an erroneous reading because you're charging the battery while you're doing such. Then these two here, this is for your Alta system, which is going to be your hot water as well as your heat. This Dometic thermostat, that is going to be for your Cool Cat heat pump. So you're going to have both fan, you're going to have area AC and electric heat, all controlled here. So it makes it very simple. So let's talk about your refrigeration options. So you have the normal 12-volt refrigerator, which would be on this side and down underneath the counter, or if you upgrade to the 3-way refrigerator, this is what you'd be getting. So you lose this cabinet space. Keep in mind that you still have a drawer here, and then you're gaining another counter space and stuff on this side as well. Now, when you go to open this, make sure you unlock it on the bottom, and then you can pull this open here. So it's a good size refrigerator, and it does have a freezer. And look at what this one comes with, folks. Most people don't realize this. It comes with its own ice maker. I love when they do this, because I'm not one that likes to have the ice maker in the freezer, because I'm never drinking the water at the campgrounds. But this is a 3-way refrigerator, allowing you to use it for propane, 110, or battery. Now keep in mind, the battery power is only to maintain the coldness. This thing will not cool down in the battery mode. It either cools down in the propane or 110 mode. So keep that in mind when you're using it. And remember, before you start traveling, make sure you lock it on the bottom. Last thing you want to do is when you get to your destination to find everything laying on the floor out here. Keep that in mind. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you about, when you're running the battery power on this thing, you must have this switch on. See this little green light? That is so that the battery will actually work on this. If you don't have that on, you will get an error message. So keep that in mind as well. So let's talk about storage in such a small camper. I mean, this thing's only a little bit over 18 feet, tip to tip. So first of all, underneath of your sink area here, like the way they have these doors locked, it's kind of like the same thing as you have in a boat. So it keeps them very secure. Not going to be jumping around, so that's there. Then you're going to have 2 drawers. Now this first drawer, you have kind of like a silverware top. Nice thing with this, you can carry this in the house, fill it to bring it back out if you need to, and then there's a little bit of room down below it to keep some things. Again, make sure you lock them for travel. Don't necessarily need to lock them when you're camping in it. And of course, additional drawer. Now, I mentioned about if you had the smaller refrigerator, this is where the refrigerator would go. Kind of takes up this area, so that's pretty good size there with the drawer down below it. And lastly, and it really not lastly, you get this cubby down here, and then this is a kind of deceiving when you're looking at it from the front because this panel's longer. And the reason for that is because you're gonna have a little cubby back behind in the bed. Now I talked about this earlier, and that is underneath this part of the mattress. You just reach in here, and that's that storage I was talking to you about. So hence the reason why a lot of people don't mess with the mattress in here, because having this 3-piece mattress makes it convenient for you to get to that area. Let's go on to the countertop here. Of course, you have your sink. Something I want to remind you is that when you're going to close this thing down, make sure you take this and push this down, because if you have this up, there is a chance this lid could be pushing this over, and it'll be leaking water all over the place if it still has pressure in it. Next, you're going to have your 2-burner propane. They have their lighter part here for you here, so you don't have to have the manual or little clicker lighter. When you're closing this, make sure that you lift up on this to bring it forward, otherwise you will bend those brackets. But this way here, when you're not using it, gives you that additional counter space. Lastly, you have the TV back here. Nice thing is with this is you do have a way to pull it out, so if you want to watch some while you're sitting up at the dinette, you can, or if you want to watch it more when you're back here. Now there's going to be 3 outlets that are not going to work unless you have your inverter switch on. Now I don't know if they've changed this, but I know in previous years, the one that's here on the countertop, there's one down by your dinette, and then there's one back here by the bed. The 110 outlets will not work unless you have the inverter on, even when you're plugged into 110 power. Now, the only one that will work if you don't have the inverter on is the one in the bathroom. So just keep that in mind, and it's GFI protected. You have 2 of them. You have one here and then one in the bathroom. On top of that, you're going to have your 12-volt connections down by your dinette and back here by your bed as well. So for those of you that do a lot of boondocking, or you're camping in nicer weather like it is today and you just need some airflow, you want to open up your windows and have some air being pulled through here, you have this vent fan, and you can have the air pulling through the windows and going out here, or you can have it just dumping in. whichever way you want to do it. Something I highly recommend you do is put some type of fantastic fan cover on top of that to allow you to use it even in the event it was raining. And speaking of that, if you wanted to, let's say that it was evening, you still wanted to pull some air through the windows. There is a way you could do that and still have your window secure. And let me show you how you do that. So what you're going to do is you unlock your windows, these parts here, and all you do is push it out just a little bit, and you're just going to get it put right in the middle. There's a little notch right in the middle there, and that way there, air is still going to be able to come through there. You got it up off the rubber gasket, and you'll still have air ventilation coming through those windows. Now lastly, in the kitchen area for storage, you're going to have, of course, the door here, right? A little space here. Now, in the event you did not get the microwave, that would give you one additional cabinet space for storage. So that is an option. You can take it or leave it. Okay, so in the bed area, I talked about the little cubby which is over here. That's where you can have the inverter switch. I like the fact that they switched the inverter switch back here versus having it underneath the dinette booth. Makes it much more convenient for those of you that need to have that 110 power while you're sleeping. Now these lights here, as you can see, this one's white, this one's blue. Let me shut off that backlight there, so I don't know if you can see that any better. But you touch it once, the blue light comes on. If you touch and hold it, that's when the reading light comes on. So you can have those, or you can have that backlight. Now I know that there's some people that complain about the fact that you have this air conditioning duct back here. Understand that you can direct that air, so you can have it blowing up to the ceiling. You don't have to have it blowing on your head while you're sleeping. You get it blowing across here, you can have it blowing up to the ceiling. The other thing you have is stereo speakers back here as well as up front. So that way there, if you're listening to some music, you can also Bluetooth some music. You're able to go ahead and hear the jams while you're hanging out here in the bed area. Now, what you're going to like about this bathroom is it's a pretty good sized bathroom. The fact that you actually have a fold-up sink, so you can fold it up out of the way when you don't need it. You can actually stand in here to take a shower. Now, I know you're probably saying to me, well, Paul, how do I keep the water from getting on everything? The way the shower curtain works, it comes all the way around, so the only thing that's going to get wet is this up here. So you're able to keep that. Now, if you wanted to, you can sit down on the toilet if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So you can actually stand up in here, you have headroom. Now I'm 5'8", that's without my hat though. So keep that in mind. Nice mirror on the door there, so as you come out, that gives you something to look at. Put your makeup on, go ahead and comb your hair, for those of us that might have hair, and get yourself ready for the day. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2021 Tab 400 by New Camp. For more information on this camper or any others, be sure you reach out to us here at Beckley's Camping Center. Again, this is Paul Chamberlain, the Air Force guy, and we look forward to seeing you one day.